What's up, YouTubers? My name is Billy and I run the Okie Addiction YouTube channel. Canadian Rides 705 reached out to me to make a short video on the problems that I had with my bobber a few weeks ago and my experience with the warranty process. I went on a 1,000 plus mile one-way trip to Los Angeles, so round trip that would be, roughly over 2,000 miles, and I put on about 3,500 miles during that whole trip. So we're going to get right down to it, right into the issue that I had with the bobber. And what happened was, on the last day of the Southern California Motovlog meetup, I was heading west out of Palm Springs on Highway 111, getting on I-10, going westbound towards Los Angeles. As soon as I got on Highway 10, the bobber started cutting out on me. It had actually started cutting out on me a few days before, and I was trying to get a head start on it, getting to LA to one of my friend's house so I could troubleshoot the problem so I could get home without any worries. Well, I never made it there. Broke down just west of Palm Springs. The engine started cutting out on me. Like it wasn't getting any fuel. Kind of felt like vapor lock, but it's fuel injected, so vapor lock should not be a problem. But that's what it felt like. It was just cutting out on me, not getting any power, to the point where the engine just died on me and I would coast to the side of the road. Try to start it up, couldn't get any power. Starter wasn't working, but after sitting about 4 or 5 minutes, I was able to start it back up. Put it in gear. Everything seemed to be working well, but as soon as I started taking off, it started cutting out again. Come to find out, it was the crankshaft sensor. So I called AAA, got towed to the nearest Indian dealer, which was in Redlands. Had to wait a day because their shop wasn't open on Sunday evening, so Monday morning I got right there and they hooked it up. They told me that it was an electrical problem and that I had loose fittings. My battery was loose and that's what was causing the problem. I had my doubts because I'm pretty obsessive compulsive when it comes to all my fittings. I usually check everything at each fuel stop. But you know what? They said they fixed the problem. I got back on the bike, took off, got about 6 miles down the road, blurp, 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 cutting out on me again. Actually, I had to pull off on the side of the highway, find a place to turn around, started heading back, and it died on me several times. Got back to the dealership, told them, hey, the battery fittings are not a problem. I took the seat off, took my tools out, made sure everything was tight. Everything's good. That's not the problem. We need to figure out what this is. At that point, the check engine light was on, which the check engine light was on the first time. I don't know if the codes were pulled the first time or not. I have no idea. I'm just going by what they told me. I got to the shop. I said, hey, take it out for a test ride, see for yourself. The mechanic took it out for a test ride. It died on him several times. The check engine light came on. He brought it back. We hooked it up to the diagnostic computer, and it said that it was a crankcase sensor fault. So long story short, they tell me that it's a cracked sensor. They need to replace it. We get the okay from the higher ups to pull the sensor from a new bike on the floor because they did not have it in stock. I'm 1,000 miles from home. They're bending over backwards to help me out. So, great guys, treated me well. But, I come back down about an hour later and they tell me, oh, well, it wasn't cracked. We found some loose fittings. We cleaned everything up. Tidied everything up, made sure all the fittings were tight, and now it runs well. What can you do? I trust them. They were nice to me. They didn't give me any crap about anything. Got back on the bike and it worked all of 15 hours. Luckily, I broke down only 4 hours away from home, just west of the Oklahoma-Texas border. Called AAA. They towed me east. Called my buddy. He got the trailer, started heading west. We met in the middle, unloaded the bike, put the bike back on the trailer, headed home. I was due home at 9 p.m., didn't get home until 2 a.m. Got a little nap, woke up, took the bike to my hometown dealer. They immediately knew what was going on because they follow me on Instagram. They came out, met me, helped me unload the bike, took the bike immediately into the shop, started taking off the belt cover, primary cover, hooked it up to diagnostic, crank sensor fault. When they took off the belt cover, we immediately saw the problem, at least what we thought may have been the problem. I'm going to show you. So here is the crankcase sensor, and the wires actually run below, and they're supposed to run below this cover right here. all along the bottom edge here. You can kind of see the wires right here. But when they took this cover off, this wire was smashed between this cover and the engine, and over time the heat of the engine melted this wire and it was creating a short, and that's what we believe was the problem. Now, did this happen at the factory? I do not know, because at the first dealership they said everything was fine, so I would assume that they had taken this off and this was fine, and then when they put this back on, they pinched the wires in between this cover and the engine. But if this damage was already there, that tells me that they never took this cover off. So I do not know what transpired at the first dealership. All I know is that they probably should have given me a new sensor, and the second time I broke down should not have happened. So needless to say, I was a tad bit upset. I mean, because I probably should have had a new sensor put in, because even if it's an electrical problem, which a majority of the time it is, probably 75–80% of the time when you have a sensor problem, it's electrical. Very, I would say if it's a sensor problem, it would be rare, but how can you tell? I mean, you really can't, unless what happens is you break down again and then think, oh, okay, well, it's not that, it's this, now we're going to replace it. But that was kind of a gamble. And you know, when you gamble with other people's money, I mean, you really don't care. The person that's going to get pissed is the person that loses all the money, right? So in a way, they were kind of gambling, but I got the short end of the stick because I broke down again. Luckily, it was within 4 hours of my hometown. My overall experience, super nice guys in Southern California at that dealership. I do want to say that, yes, the crankshaft sensor probably should have been, it probably should have been changed out. I should have gotten a new one. When I got to my hometown dealer, they were super, super friendly as always. Super nice guys. I'm 110% satisfied with the way things are run there. I've always been treated well. They got the bike right in. They fixed it up within a few days, said, we're going to get you a new sensor. We're going to order it. We're going to get it in. We're going to put it in. And since they've put it in, I've not had any problems whatsoever. But I'm not confident enough yet to take her back out on the road out of state. I want to at least get another 1,000 miles in under my belt to make sure that indeed was the issue. It seems like that's what it was right now. I probably got about 500 miles on it since I've gotten the sensor replaced. But until I get that 1,000 miles in, I do not want to get stuck way out in BFE. And that could have happened to me on this trip. The person that took the brunt of that gamble was me. There were some places I went through that I did not see a single car for at least an hour. All I saw were call boxes every 3 miles. In the middle of the desert. Luckily, I didn't break down out there. I did spend a majority of my time riding in the evening because I figured it'd be cooler, less traffic. But if I broke down, I mean, I'm just lucky that I broke down where I broke down. I was going to take a trip through Zion National Park, through Escalante, go by the Hoover Dam on the way back, do some more moto camping. But with the issues that I had, I just wanted to get home and make sure that that indeed was the issue. Unfortunately, I broke down again, but the issue I believe now is fixed. So the warranty process, I mean, super good. The guys, no questions asked. They said, this is the problem. They showed me exactly. I was in the shop with them when they showed me. They actually took the bad sensor because Indian wanted them to ship it back to them so they could take a look at it. I've also seen on the forums where other people were having the same kind of issues, so I would put a comment on there what my issues were, just in case, so they can at least check it. Take that cover off, check your wires. Maybe it's a fault in the wires, but it could be a fault in the sensor. I mean, who knows? If there's enough sensors failing, that may be an issue. Check out my channel, Okie Addiction, YouTube, Okie Addiction, Instagram. I want to thank Canadian Rides 705 for inviting me in this collaborative effort. I believe there's going to be several motovloggers making some videos of their warranty experience. And that is it, guys. As always, stay safe, stay true to yourself, and live your best life.